Welcome to Headstones and Microphones, where we use AI to step into the past through a researched, first-person simulation of history's most interesting people. I am your host, Calvin. While we've added some creative storytelling, our goal is to inspire your own study of these fascinating lives. Now, let's meet our guest. Joining me today is a man who didn't just play a hero, he became a global symbol of strength and discipline. A martial arts master, a champion, and a cultural icon whose name launched 1,000 memes. Welcome to the show, Chuck Norris.
Well, hello there, Calvin.
We are thrilled to have you. Now, for those who may somehow not know who you are, who are you?
I'm just a guy who believes in hard work. Most folks know me as a martial artist and an actor from movies like Way of the Dragon or the show Walker, Texas Ranger. But at my core, I'm a teacher and a man of faith who tried to live by a code of ethics.
When and where were you born?
I entered the world on March 10th, 1940, in a little town called Ryan, Oklahoma.
What was your given name at birth?
My parents named me Carlos Ray Norris.
Is there a story behind your birth name?
There sure is. My father, Ray, named me after his minister, Carlos Berry. He had a lot of respect for that man, and I've always tried to carry that name with the same kind of integrity.
What was your hometown like growing up?
Ryan was a small rural place. It was the kind of town where you learned the value of a dollar and the importance of family early on. It wasn't always easy. We didn't have much, but it stayed with me.
What was your family life like?
It was a bit of a roller coaster. My father struggled with some personal demons, and my parents eventually divorced when I was 16. My mother, Wilma, was the rock. She raised me and my two younger brothers, Wieland and Aaron, with so much love and strength. We moved around a bit, eventually landing in California.
What kind of kid were you?
You might find this hard to believe, Calvin, but I was a very shy, non-athletic, and mediocre student. I wasn't the guy jumping into the fray back then. I was actually pretty introverted.
What were your biggest fears growing up?
Mostly just not fitting in or not being, quote, enough. Being the shy kid, the idea of standing out or being criticized was pretty daunting to me.
What did you dream of becoming as a child?
I didn't have grand dreams of Hollywood, that's for sure. I mostly just wanted to find a way to support my family and maybe find a bit of confidence.
What were some of your favorite activities in school?
I tried my hand at football and gymnastics at North Torrance High. I wasn't a star, I spent a fair amount of time on the bench, but I enjoyed being part of a team.
What was your first job?
My very first job was as a paperboy. I'd ride my bike around delivering the news. It taught me about punctuality and responsibility before the sun even came up.
Was there a moment where you realized you were different from everyone else?
It wasn't a single moment of quote-unquote specialness, but rather a realization in the Air Force. When I was stationed in South Korea, I discovered martial arts, Tang Sudo. For the first time, I found something that clicked. I realized I had a level of discipline and focus I hadn't tapped into before.
What's a decision that changed everything for you, but felt small at the time?
Joining the Air Force. I joined to be an air policeman, thinking it was just a career path, but it led me to Korea, which led me to the martial arts that defined the rest of my life.
What was your biggest break?
Meeting Bruce Lee at a martial arts demonstration. We became friends and trained together, and eventually, he asked me to play the villain in Way of the Dragon. That fight scene in the Coliseum changed my life forever.
What were your biggest struggles before success?
Poverty was a big one. Growing up poor, you're always fighting an uphill battle. Then, when I started my martial arts schools, I had to work incredibly hard to keep them afloat before they became successful.
Did you ever consider quitting?
There were times in the early days of acting where the roles weren't coming, and I wondered if I was in the right place. But I've always believed that when you hit a wall, you don't stop. You find a way over or through it.
Were there any specific daily habits or routines that you feel are essential to your success?
Discipline is everything. I've always started my days with physical training and prayer. Keeping your mind and body sharp isn't a part-time job. It's a lifestyle.
What job would you have had if fame never happened?
I would have been a full-time martial arts instructor. Teaching kids and helping them find confidence through the Kickstart Kids program was always my true passion.
What was your life like before fame?
It was focused on the dojo. I was traveling for tournaments, teaching classes, and just trying to be the best martial artist I could be. It was simpler, but very rewarding.
How did relationships change after success?
You definitely learn who your real friends are. But more than anything, it gave me a platform to help more people. My wife Gina and I always tried to use our position to do some good in the world.
Did fame bring happiness?
Fame itself is just noise. Happiness came from my faith, my family, and seeing the impact of my charity work. The stuff that comes with fame is just a tool.
What was the downside of becoming famous?
The loss of privacy is the biggest thing. It's hard to just be a regular guy at the grocery store when everyone expects you to do a roundhouse kick in the produce aisle.
What misconceptions do people have about you?
A lot of people thought I was exactly like the tough guy characters I played. I'm actually a pretty soft-hearted guy who loves his family and his quiet time on the ranch.
What was your darkest moment?
Losing my brother Wieland in the Vietnam War. That was a heavy blow for our whole family. It took a lot of faith to get through that grief.
What regrets did you carry?
I try not to live with regrets. Every mistake is a lesson. I suppose, if anything, I wish I could have spent even more time with my family during the busiest years of my career.
What's something people misunderstood about your life?
People see the Chuck Norris facts and think I'm some kind of invincible myth. I love the jokes, don't get me wrong, but I'm a man who had to work for every single inch of progress I ever made.
Tell me about a time when everything went wrong and how did you handle it?
There was a time when my business ventures were struggling, and I felt like I was failing as a provider. I handled it by going back to basics. More training, more prayer, and staying focused on the goal. You can't let a temporary defeat become a permanent one.
Did fame and fortune change your life?
It changed my circumstances, but I hope it didn't change who I am. I'm still that kid from Oklahoma at heart, just with a slightly better known name.
Who had the biggest influence on your life?
My mother, Wilma. She taught me never to give up, no matter how hard life gets.
What was life like in your final years?
It was wonderful. I spent a lot of time on my ranch in Texas and in Hawaii. I stayed active, kept training, and enjoyed every moment with Gina and the kids. I even kept making videos to show folks that you don't age, you just level up.
What were you working on in your career before you passed away?
I was still very involved with Kickstart Kids and my writing. I always wanted to leave behind a legacy of character and strength for the next generation.
When and where did you pass away?
I passed away on March 19th, 2026, at my home on the beautiful island of Kauai, Hawaii.
What happened?
It was a sudden medical emergency, but I went peacefully. I was 86 years old, and I'd say I had a pretty good run.
What's a random fact about you most people have never heard?
I'm an author. I've written several books, including some Western novels and books on my philosophy of life.
What's the craziest rumor ever told about you?
Oh, take your pick from the internet. Chuck Norris doesn't wear a watch, he decides what time it is. Or my favorite, they tried to carve my face into Mount Rushmore, but the granite wasn't hard enough for my beard.
What was your most unique habit?
I suppose it's my constant need to be moving or learning. Even in my 80s, I was still hitting the heavy bag and working on my techniques.
What was your favorite food?
Nothing beats a good steak and some Tex-Mex.
What was your favorite book?
The Bible. It's been my guidebook for as long as I can remember.
Did you have any known rivalries?
People loved to talk about me and Bruce Lee, but we were the best of friends. We pushed each other to be better.
Tell us a story nobody talks about.
Most people don't know that I was actually quite a good bowler. Back in the day, I spent a lot of time at the lanes. It's a different kind of focus than martial arts, but just as rewarding.
What's your funniest behind-the-scenes moment?
On the set of Walker, Texas Ranger, we had a dog that was supposed to be a tough canine. One day, during a big action scene, the dog just decided it was nap time and fell asleep right in the middle of the arrest. We all just lost it laughing.
Did you ever prank someone?
I've been known to scare a few co-stars by sneaking up on them. When you move as quietly as I do, it's too easy not to have a little fun.
What was the most outlandish purchase you made?
I'm not a very outlandish guy, but buying a ranch in Texas was a big dream come true. It's my sanctuary.
What advice would you give people chasing success?
Focus on your possibilities, not your limitations. Always seek to improve yourself, stay disciplined, and never forget where you came from.
Chuck, this has been an absolute honor. Do you have any closing remarks about the interview that you would like to share with the listeners before heading back?
I just want to say thank you for letting me share my story. To everyone listening, remember that you have a strength inside you that you haven't even tapped into yet. Keep punching, keep praying, and never let anyone tell you what you can't do. Thanks for having me, Calvin. It's been a blast.
And there you have it, folks. The legend himself, Chuck Norris. From a shy kid in Oklahoma to a world-renowned master of the martial arts and a digital icon, Chuck reminded us today that discipline, faith, and a good sense of humor can take you further than any roundhouse kick. And that wraps up another conversation from Beyond the Grave. Thanks for joining us on the Headstones and Microphones podcast. Remember, legends may die, but their stories never do. Please help spread the word by sharing and following the pod.